Flung up towards Kai Havertz!
From playing career mode on FIFA with his brother to winning the Champions League in real life, Kai Havertz has been shutting his critics up and making his dreams a reality. After a big money move in the summer, Havertz was under the radar again, but with the way he's been balling now, the question is, just how good is Kai Havertz? Now, unlike most ballers who had to start from poor backgrounds with no money and grind their way to the top, for Kai Havertz it was different. His parents were well-to-do, and after he was born on June 11, 1999 in Germany, it was a question of allowing their kid to pick whatever he wanted. From a young age, Havertz already had the experience of being a footballer. When he turned 4, he played for the amateur youth club Alemannia Mariadorf. It was easy for him to get in too. He had the talent, plus his grandpa Richard was also the chairman of the team. As soon as he got that first taste of football, there was no going back. He did other activities like piano lessons and even animal rescue, but Kai always wanted to play football. And as the years progressed, in 2009, he was on the verge of getting his big break. When he turned 11, Bayer Leverkusen had been watching him, and after seeing his skills, decided he was good enough to join their academy. Havertz quickly progressed into one of the most promising talents in the team, and he'd now become so good that the club even had to fast-track his debut. Leverkusen were facing Werder Bremen in the league, and with Havertz still being a young kid at only 17, he got left out of the squad that morning when his mom's phone rang. Lars Bender was injured, and the coach Roger Schmidt figured Kai would be the perfect replacement. Kai's mom immediately drove him to Leverkusen, where a chauffeur took him to the game against Bremen, and in the 83rd minute, Kai made history. He was now the youngest player to feature in a Bundesliga game at 17 years old. When I was that age, I couldn't even make my PE team. The football journey wasn't straightforward for Kai. He was still a regular teen who had to battle school with football. He legit missed Leverkusen's round of 16 match against Atletico Madrid because he had exams. I had an exam on Wednesday after an away game on the Tuesday evening that went to extra time and penalties. I got home relatively late and had an exam the next day. I don't want to talk about how the exam went. In the 2017-18 season, while he played more games, it was on the balance because he had to juggle with school. When Kai established himself in the first team, it was time for jersey picking day. And that's when he picked a number that would end up shaping his career. He picked the number 29 because that was the same one he and his brother Jan used when playing career mode. He wanted to create his own legacy. In the seasons that followed, Kai couldn't stop breaking records. Apart from being the youngest player to feature in a Bundesliga game, he also held the record for being the youngest player to hit 100 appearances in the Bundesliga and in the game against Augsburg. He scored the 50,000th goal in Bundesliga history. Milestone, kid! Kai's performances didn't go unnoticed too. In July 2018, he won the Fritz Walter Award given to the best German under-19 player of the year, and in the next season, he even finished second in the race to win the Bundesliga Player of the Season award, behind Marco Reus. Now the comparisons between Kai and the Leverkusen legend were in full swing. He had the king of the first touch saying he played just like him.
Kai Havertz?
Yes.
The Leverkusen link?
Yes, the Leverkusen link, not because I came from Leverkusen, he came from Leverkusen, but he have that way of moving around the pitch.
Whoa, Berbatov was praising a kid who hadn't even turned 20 yet. Amazing. With numbers like this, it was only a matter of time before Kai made his national team debut. And after featuring for the under-19 setup, the next phase would have been the under-21s. But Germany's coach, Joachim Löw, had been seeing enough and figured Kai was ready. First cap for the national team versus Peru, and officially on his way to becoming a certified baller. By 2020, Kai was a Leverkusen star. He'd had 46 goals and 31 assists in 150 games for the club already, but his numbers weren't the only thing making him stand out. He had a nickname that pretty much defined his career to that point. Back home, they called him Alice Connor because he was the type of player who could play anywhere easily. His ability on the ball allowed him to be flexible in multiple positions, and still early on, he had a tactical side to his game that most people hadn't figured out. The kid was really smart. It looked like Kai would be part of the next golden generation at Leverkusen. Together with Florian Wirtz, they were two of the most talked about young players in the league. But later that year, a top club in Europe sent Kai a proposal he simply couldn't say no to. Chelsea and Frank Lampard wanted him, and $72 million later, they made him their man and became the second most expensive player in the club's history. His first couple of weeks at his new club was a mixed bag. In his first Carabao Cup match versus Barnsley, he hit the ground running. A hat-trick! But after that, the good performances weren't all that many. See guys, the reason Kai was inconsistent early on was that he just moved to a new league and hadn't figured out how his teammates wanted him to play. Frank Lampard kept using him in different positions, trying to find the perfect spot for him. And worse, Kai didn't know that all he had to do was subscribe to Footballers to watch the best content on YouTube. He kept missing notifications for new videos. Towards the end though, Kai picked up his game. He scored a brace in Chelsea's 2-0 win over Fulham with 4 games left to play in the league. And in the Champions League, he couldn't have picked a better time to grab his first goal of the competition. The winner to help Chelsea secure a second Champions League title in the club's history. But you see guys, that was as good as it got for Kai at the bridge. This moment was his peak at Chelsea, and in the months after, it all came crashing down. Now his numbers did go up, and he did deliver key performances too. Like in the Euros that summer, he bagged goals against Portugal and Hungary to help Germany make it out of the group stages. But they got knocked out by England. And in the club competitions the following season, he came clutch for Chelsea again, scoring the winning goal in the Club World Cup final against Palmeiras. But once again, on a personal level, he couldn't keep up a string of good performances because he was being used all over. Under Thomas Tuchel, Havertz played in the center-forward position quite a lot. Now he's not the most physical of players, but because of his intelligence and ability to link up players, Tuchel used him here, but in the end, being isolated up top was killing his game. And apparently the Chelsea fans didn't understand it. Kai and Germany had a disappointing World Cup too. Yeah, that picture sums it all up. Germany once again failed to make it out of the group stages, and coming into the 2022-23 season, Kai knew something had to change. He was still being played as a center forward at Chelsea. And let's just say he'd gotten tired of the constant trolling by fans who claimed to love him online. Lucky for him, another London club was willing to give him a chance to escape. Mikel Arteta paid Chelsea $56 million and convinced Havertz to come join him at Arsenal. And it's safe to say the move has worked out. Despite a relatively slow start to his Arsenal career, once Havertz hit the ground running, there was no stopping him. At Arsenal, Arteta realized, just like other coaches, that Havertz's versatility means he can play in multiple positions. But unlike the others, he's used him primarily down the middle, either as a false nine dropping deep to get involved in the play, or as part of a midfield with creative players like Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice. And it's bringing out a version of him no one's ever seen. With the season coming to an end, Arsenal is still heavy in the title race, and Havertz has played a key role in that. He ranks high in the 93rd percentile for goals scored per 90 in the league, with 12 this season. Ranks in the 85th percentile with 6 assists at 0.22 per 90, 93rd percentile for goal contributions with 0.66 per 90, and his XG has gone up too. He's in the 90th percentile for expected goals with 0.42 per 90. It's not just the goals he's improved on. Defensively, Arteta's unlocked another aspect of his game. He's won 93 aerial duels this season, 177 ground duels, and contested 376, putting him in the 95th, 87th, and 90th percentiles in each category respectively. Now at Arsenal, Havertz is a different animal. He's turning into a version of a complete all-round player with crazy potential too. Recently in the league, Havertz faced Chelsea at Arsenal for the first time since he left, and he put on a show and showed his former team just how good he'd become. Dude even celebrated. No chills. With the way he's moving now, Havertz's game can only go on the up. Arteta's making sure to get the best out of him, and if he can keep this new version up, it's only a matter of time before he becomes one of the best players in the world. I can't even lie, I'm rooting for the guy. I mean, to be honest, he's the complete package. Loves football, donates to charity, plays video games, and has subscribed to Footballers too. Soon to become OG of the game, and who knows, maybe even better than Dimitar Berbatov.